You want to cuddle in?
Okay, we've got the whole family here. I'm Ramona Braganza, celebrity trainer and global fitness expert, and I'm actually interviewing today Allison Tai. She's a pre- and postnatal certified specialist. She's got all the scoop on what to do, when to start exercising after you've had a baby, and you just had a baby.
I did, 5 weeks ago.
5 weeks ago, and she looks great, really cute.
Thank you.
She's sleeping.
Yeah, she sure is. Always.
And you're back to working out already.
I am, yeah. I had a C-section, and I also had a C-section with my first daughter here, and we were a little bit more conservative with starting up an exercise program the first time, and followed kind of more traditional advice. And then, and this one, my obstetrician who saw over me after the C-section just said, you know what, if it doesn't hurt, go ahead and do it. So he said, you know, you're fit, you kept up with your fitness the whole pregnancy, so go ahead and start running when you feel like running, even if it's 2 weeks from now, and go ahead and, you know, lift stuff that doesn't feel like it's pulling, and all this stuff. So I really went home, and I took it pretty easy for the first week, just lots of walking and stuff like that, and from there, I just, you know, I tried to run a little bit, and it felt great, and just listening to my body and backing off when I felt I needed to, and just kept on moving and kept on doing something every day.
And with Emma, then, what was your protocol, a little bit more conservative?
Yeah, with her, I think about 5 weeks I started very easy jogging, no impact stuff, no, nothing very heavy, so nothing heavier than the baby, which is something that you'll often hear.
Okay.
Really careful with even housework, things like vacuuming and stuff like that.
Okay.
Just following a little bit more the traditional protocol, just starting things a little bit earlier, since I had been running and things like that my whole pregnancy. But yeah, this one I just kind of started right off the bat, just having the support of my obstetrician to do things and to go out and move and get back into my routine.
I think what's really important. If your doctor says you can do it, then I think you should be able to get moving. And for most of us, it's a walking program. It's something, and then there are some things you should watch out for if you are getting back and things don't quite feel completely right. And what things would you watch out for?
The biggest thing is excess blood flow. So it's essentially you have all these open vessels in your uterus after you deliver a baby, and when you start moving more, you are going to get more flow. Okay. So that's totally normal. But if you soak through more than a pad in an hour, or your flow really dramatically increases, or you get very large clots, or it starts smelling funny, you know, those are signs that you need to go and see your doctor, and they're not necessarily related necessarily to the exercise intensity, but they can be. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And what about diastasis?
That's something for C-sections. It can be a little bit worse, and it is a big problem as well for people that have vaginal deliveries. A third of every mom on their first time child will have it, and 2/3 on their second child. So it's very common, a lot more than most people think, and that's just we call it abdominal separation. Yep. But it's more if you had a fabric or something and it's kind of wearing down a little bit. It doesn't totally separate, but the fabric that holds both sides of your abs together starts to wear down. So you want to work a lot on that transverse muscle, the corset muscle that wraps around and sucking in. You want to avoid things that will stress the muscle that flexes your body forward, so things like sit-ups. I've totally avoided planks or burpees where you're kind of loading the front end of your body. I've been really trying to avoid, and I've been doing a lot of things where I'm just really sucking in my abs as much as I can just to try to connect that. And a lot of Kegels, which are really easy to do. I always try to do them while I'm breastfeeding, for instance, just to get the muscles that support the abs stronger.
Okay. So technically, after 6 to 8 weeks, if you've had a C-section, you should be fine to go back and do that kind of workout. Yeah,
absolutely. Going back, and you can do Kegels right in the hospital bed as soon as you feel up to doing anything.
Core, the ab.
Yeah, the ab stuff. Yeah, that's more a 6 to 8 kind of thing. Absolutely, yeah.
So between the 2 to 3 weeks, and then getting started in like say the baby bulge phase 1. What are your recommendations if you're not an athlete or a movie star?
Well, things like walking would be good for any population.
Yeah. And you mean walking like at a good speed, or just kind of getting...
Starting off, I think just moving. As soon as you start taking big steps, it's going to create a little bit of tension in your abs. So if you've had a C-section, and also in your pelvis if you've had a vaginal birth. So if you've had a C-section, you'll feel a little pulling in your abs. If you've had a vaginal birth, a little pulling down under or in the pelvis. So you want to start off walking a little bit slower than you think that you might want to walk,
Okay.
and then gradually pick it up. You don't want to just end up lumbering along
Right.
for that entire time. If you feel like you can push and there's nothing, no weird feelings, no pulling, you're connecting with your body and you're feeling fine, then you want to get to a point where walking feels a little bit breathless.
Okay.
So even walking
Okay.
up hills and things like that, or just
Right.
picking a more challenging pace.
Okay. And then when it comes to breastfeeding, I guess, a lot of times, and this happened to one of my clients, she was actually exercising to lose weight for a project and then breastfeeding and found the milk was a little less. So we had to kind of adjust her intake of calories to match her exercising because she still wanted to keep exercising. Do you have any recommendations? Has anything happened where it's affected your...
I haven't ever had that problem just because I really like eating.
Okay.
So, but it's basically about balancing the calories, right? So if you ended up not exercising but not ingesting enough calories, you're very sedentary, you're still not getting enough calories, you're still going to have problems with milk supply. So studies have shown that it's not exercising, it's being at a calorie deficit. So just trying to meet your calories and also with just wholesome, nutritious foods is really important.
Yep.
The one other thing that I kind of mentioned there is often it's water. So if you're working out, especially in intensities where you're sweating, you're losing a lot of water, you're going to have to replace that and replace the fluid for breastfeeding. So it can be a dehydration as well. So
Sure.
just listening to your body again in terms of exercise intensity and nutrition. Do you need to eat more? And just pick things more like an apple. You're probably not hungry if you don't want to eat an apple. You don't need to be eating a chocolate cake, but just getting in those.
And you're not eating for two anymore either.
Definitely,
I guess,
yeah.
Well, very good, and you look great, and
Thank you.
I have to come watch you when you do your next, is it the 10K with the stroller, and
I'm sure
she's
I'll be
amazing.
out there. We have a 5K and a stair race this weekend. So.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but the parents are coming to watch the kids, so I can do it without a stroller, so that's good.
That's great.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us, and make sure you stick to the 3-2-1 Baby Bulge Be Gone Phase 1 program and get your baby body back. Your pre-baby body back.